Repetition is a necessary part of making improvements for any task, right? All of you know this. I mean, none of you will sit down and just study something and just know it instantly, right? You have to have several times or several repetitions for that to work. I just want to make this video to talk about repetitions when it comes to playing clarinet, because you can go off the rails very, very easily if you're not careful. If you're bored with repetition, which is what I hear some people say sometimes, the cause is usually one or two things. One, you're playing something over and over and you can do it. Okay, if that's the case, if you're playing things perfectly all the time, you need to add stimulus. You need to play it faster, or you need to work to a higher goal, or even sometimes you need a different piece of music, right? That's again, we live in a state where we focus on a very small amount of music for a very long period of time. If you want to learn something in conjunction with that, that's usually a great way to beat off repetition. The other way that people get bored is they say they get bored, but what it is people refuse to confront their own problems, right? They say they get bored, but what it is they can't play the passage, right? And they're unwilling to go back to step one, where they can play a little bit of it and then build it up from there. So repetition by itself is not inherently boring. It just depends on how you frame it. A question I get asked a lot is, how many times should I repeat something before I move on? And when I was in school, it was like, you play perfectly 3 times, and then once you play perfectly 3 times, you can move faster. But if you mess it up once, then you got to play it 3 times, right? So if you try it once and you screw it up, then you got to play it 6 times before you can go faster. That works for some people. Here's what I'll say: you should repeat it as many times until you feel secure, because really, auditions are honest. The auditions show you exactly as you are, and all of your insecurities, even if they're insecurities you refuse to acknowledge, will blow up in an audition. I mean, if any of you have ever had really bad audition experiences, it's usually because there was some insecurity you didn't fix in preparation for that audition. So my rule of thumb is repeat it as many times until you feel secure before you move on. You do have to take a sort of longer outlook on this, okay? I'm not advising you to sit down and play a passage 100 times, 200 times every time you sit down. That's not that useful. That usually will just result in burnout more than anything else. You need to give yourself enough time to make progress. I mean, progress is not something you can force, right? This is not cramming for a test. This is a skill. If you don't practice your music in your auditions tomorrow, you're gonna suck, right? There's no getting around that. So give yourself enough time, a couple of weeks or a month to reach the goals that you want to reach. Again, this is an art form of delayed gratification. It's not something where you can get things overnight, but it also means that if you do succeed, you get a much bigger high than just sort of the short-term stuff.